Oh, Old Channel is great. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
You're not 1 minute late. I wasn't.
Say I was. We'll call the meeting to order. It is the mission of Montague Area Public Schools to educate and inspire all students to become motivated, articulate, productive, and successful citizens for today, tomorrow, and forever. Item number 2 on the agenda is Pledge Allegiance. Please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 3 on the agenda is roll call.
Ms. Dahl? Here. Ms. Francis? Here. Mr. Redd?
Here.
Mr. Smith?
Here.
Mr. Weisheim?
Here.
Mrs. Dubar? Here. Mrs. Fulmer? Here. Here.
Awesome. Item 4 on the agenda is approval of the agenda. Suggest a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Moved by Amanda, support by Scott. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item 5 on the agenda is the consent agenda. Suggested motion is to adopt the consent agenda as presented. Moved by Scott, support by Joel. Any discussion?
Just want to pay note, we have a couple resignations on there. Thank you to all of those individuals. Special thank you to Mary Fox with 15 years of service with the district, and a big, huge thank you to Kathy Ullman, who has been in the district now for 28 years. Done an outstanding job, even was at central office for a period of time there. And thank you, Kathy, for all that she's done, and she'll be moving on to the world of retirement at the end of the year.
Any additional discussion or comments? All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Opposed? Motion carried. Item 6 on the agenda is public comment portion. At this time, public comments will be accepted. Each statement shall be limited to 5 minutes in duration. Participants shall direct all comments to the board and not to staff or other participants. The board welcomes public comment but does not respond to citizens' concerns at its meetings. At the citizens' request and the board's direction, the superintendent or designee will respond in a timely manner. This meeting is a meeting for the Board of Education in public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business and is not considered to be a public community meeting. Do we have anybody on the list? Is there anybody that would like to make a public comment at this time? No? You sure, Merrick? I'm sure. All right. All right. On to item 7, reports.
All right, first on reports, we have the principal meeting's full minute.
I'll go first.
All right, Mrs. Thoman in the high school.
I was really short last month, so it might be a little longer today. Spring sports begin today. Just had some baseball, softball's coming in, track, all the things. Golf, I think, might be maybe next week. They're having some meetings and planning this week. So let's hope the rest of the snow melts on the fields. State testing, we actually begin the week before spring break this year. ACT is a mandated date by, it's a national date, and we only have 2 days to choose from, and one of them is during spring break. So pretty much everybody in our county is testing on March 27th for the ACT. Everything else will be after spring break. Mr. Patton has been meeting with every grade level for scheduling. He will be going over to the middle school shortly to talk to the 8th graders about scheduling. We are in the process of creating some new electives, maybe bringing back some old electives that we haven't had for a while, changing things up to meet the needs of our students. Our committees, our PBIS committee has been involved with training, as all of the PBIS committees in the district. And our committee at the high school sent out a student survey a few weeks ago, and they are looking at that, and they will be also putting together kind of a student panel to have student voice into how to make Montague High School a better place to be, and all of the positive behavior things that go along with that. DECA State Conference is this weekend, so we will be sending a group down to downtown Detroit. Last week, I had the pleasure of going with the band to festival. They received straight ones at festival. They are hoping to compete at state, but the dates that they gave us for an option are 2 very busy days. So Mrs. Greenwood is still looking at those. Our juniors went to the career fair in Shelby. We were very thankful to have been invited to that. That's a great one. There's colleges, businesses, all kinds of places there. And it previously was just for Oceana County schools, but we were included this year. And it was a great experience for kids. They really have it down. They get them in, they go around the circuit, and they leave. So I know, they all came back with bags and lots of trinkets, and were able to touch base. And some came back with job applications, so that's great too. They also, our freshmen will be going to the DeVos Career Expo next week. That's also another very much structured setting, and it's huge. They go through all of the different stations, and they get exposed to lots of different careers while they are there. It's always a great time for the freshmen. Our wrestling team, we had 2 all-state placers, 4 all-state individual academic students, and then the team as a whole earned all-state academic status once again. Bowling, we sent 2 boys to state, first time ever, so that was very exciting. Mr. Mulder's taking a group of our all-conference athletes to Orchard View tomorrow, where they will be with all of the all-conference athletes from all of the schools, and then they get to go to lunch. Our play is coming up, Don't Drink the Water. That is the weekend of March 28th. Graduation, mark the date, May 16th. Coming quicker than you know. All of the announcements were delivered to the office last week. So that is right around the corner, and we have started planning for that. And of course, everyone's looking forward to spring break.
Thank you, Mrs. Long.
So a couple of things for the middle school, a couple of things for our staff as well. We're in the midst of this big stretch without breaks between midwinter break and spring break, so this is a lot of content that's being delivered right now. So our teachers and students are working really hard. Tomorrow we're going to have the science department at NBC is all going to be pulled out of their classrooms for the day to work on curriculum with our ISD science consultant. So we're just working to shore that up and continue to provide the best science instruction that we can. Our English department will come out in May and do the same thing. So I kind of rotate through all the departments, give us all a day to work specifically on content. Our district continuous improvement team is meeting tomorrow afternoon right after school. This is work that we do on our school improvement plan. So we're looking at where are we this year, and then we'll start looking at what we need to do to set goals for next year. And then when we meet in June, we'll do all of that. We have conferences Thursday of this week from 12 to 3 and 4 to 7. So we're going to see lots of parents there as well. There is the legislature passed a new law on threat assessments on the schools and have a process in place. On March 18th, our entire administrative team is going to be trained on the newest updated version of that, so we will be in compliance with that law almost a year in advance of when it will officially be enacted. The wrestling conference tournament for the middle school is Saturday, and that will wrap up our wrestling for the season. The girls' basketball tournament is the week of the 17th, so that will be done by the 20th, and then track starts on March 24th. So a busy, quick turnaround there. And the middle school continues to add club sports. So we now offer this spring softball, baseball, soccer, and hot off the press golf will be a spring club sport as well. So in some previous updates, I mentioned that Kara Griesel's been working with a few kids on the design challenge. So that was a piece that we were invited into. We only have 3 middle schools around the county that were invited into the pilot of that. So it works on the design thinking process. So it's really just a design. You're looking for what's your problem and getting feedback from your users, and then you design something and gain feedback and work into a full, try to bring that to fruition. We were invited because we've had 8 of our teachers at the middle school have been trained through the Henry Ford Learning Institute on the design thinking process. We had a team of 4 boys, Logan Krause, Jake Field, Waylon Lamb, and John Ivers. We worked during lunch and after school with Mrs. Griesel and Mrs. Bradfield, and they had to come up with a design around the challenge to take a local community space and
do something to that space to encourage more people to use the space. So they get partnered with local businesses, and then the Kendall Art and Design. So CatchMark was our sponsor here locally that was working with them. So thanks to CatchMark, they came in and gave some feedback, listened to the presentation. They went to the Rotary and presented, and then they went to in Grand Rapids where they have the Design Challenge day. And all of the middle schools around, it was Kent, Ottawa, and Muskegon that were involved in that, so there were over 30 middle schools in this first one. The kids had a great time. They all got to do their pitch for what they designed, which was an electric piano that was outside, solar powered, so you could come by and enjoy the music, and you could have all kinds of, you could make it strings and horns and whatever, and play music outside, and everyone could come enjoy the space. And they wanted to make it portable so you could move it around the community to different events. So that was their design. So then the Kendall art students made like a poster that had kind of a mock-up of what they were thinking on their design and some stuff on it. So they thought they were really big stuff for their presenting things. They all came all dressed in their ties and everything. So it was a great day. Everyone had a great time. So it looks like that kind of thing will be a yearly event, and that middle schools will be able to enter teams across our counties and continue that sort of thing. So definitely something that our kids want to continue to be involved in.
Thank you, Mr. Burrow.
Well, we've been busy at RRO as well. Since I last spoke to you, we held a second grade music concert that was well attended and enjoyed by all. Our pilot teachers for ELA also attend a learning lab over in Mona Shores to watch our current pilot program, which is Bookworms, to watch it in action. And then actually over midwinter break, some teachers also traveled to Kent City to watch the teachers there using the program. On February 19th, we launched our Book Blast, and that's that program I mentioned last month where students can send out a message to family and friends to support them in ordering these books. And ultimately, though, the goal is to get books in the hands of students, and no matter what, every student gets at least one book. Some students will end up with 5 or 6, some maybe 10, but every student will get one book. Cool School started last month, so they'll finish that up by the end of March. And the principals and myself and our special ed supervisor, we attended a session at the ISD called Legal Discipline. So just more information for us on how to follow the law in terms of suspensions and seclusions and restraints regarding our general ed population as well as our special ed students. We welcomed the state qualifiers in wrestling and bowling as they swung by, and we did the high fives and so forth. The kids loved being outside. Fortunately, it was chilly, but it was a beautiful Sunday, so it's always fun to celebrate the accomplishments of the older students. We held our monthly Hero Assembly last month at the end of the month, but that also was our kickoff to March's Reading Month. And for March's Reading Month, each grade level has a theme. And so they kind of stick to that theme throughout the month. And we're trying something new this year, whereas in the cafeteria each week, on Monday or Tuesday and maybe even into Wednesday, the students listen to a book on the overhead projector. And then that book, somehow in the book, there is reference to some food item. It could be berries, it could be donuts, it could be spinach. And then I've worked with Dan Gorman in food service, so then he makes that food available for them on Wednesday, so it's kind of called Taste Test Wednesday, so then the kids get to taste those items. And then we'll finish off the month of March with our Donuts with VIPs, which is when we invite parents and family and friends to come and have donuts with our students. And then after spring break, we'll kick off at both the MAP and our One School, One Book initiative, which is with that book blast, the one book that we are going to have is called Favorite Stories Humphrey. So it's 3 stories in one. It's the first 3 stories in the series. So every student will get that, and then we'll have games and prizes and assignments with nightly reading for families to look at to enjoy the book together. And as Christy and Jim both alluded to, our committees have been meeting. The PBIS team has been working with the ISD to strengthen those our PBIS program, both in our expectations, our incentives, our rewards, pretty much everything that has to do with our positive behavior support. Academic team is really looking closely about where we want to go with cursive writing. So that will probably be something that we will want to weigh in with you and with parents as well. As you know, recently there's been legislation that's kind of hung out there but never really makes it. But yet, it's important that we teach children how to write. They do have to learn how to write their name in cursive, but is that something that we want to continue to promote, knowing that we are a technology world and they're typing a lot and using the computer? So we really have to find a balance, but yet have a consistent expectation throughout the school district. Our culture and community committee, they have been looking a lot at how we can strengthen that relationship with parents. So they're looking at trying to get more volunteers in the classroom. They've been attending more PTO meetings, which is nice to see. And then I'm happy to say that our ELA pilot group made a decision last Wednesday. We had a 2-hour meeting where they had an opportunity to share their thoughts and really reflect on this pilot, similarly how they did with the EL curriculum, and they have chosen bookworms. So either in the April or May meeting, we will come to you and we'll have a presentation for you about that program and why we are recommending it to you to approve, and also to provide you with some of the materials. And then last but not least, we have a West Michigan Teacher Collaborative candidate. Her name is Carrie Briggs. She's currently one of our LRE paras at RRO, and she actually had a bachelor's degree prior to enrolling in the program. But now she is getting a certification in education. And so this spring, she will be finished up. She's doing her student teaching at RRO right now. And she'll be doing her observations pretty much this spring, and then she'll be done. So that'll be our first candidate that has come out of that program. And so depending on what our job situation looks like, she may or may not be joining the ranks of teachers, but the good news is it's been real successful from at least our standpoint with Carrie. And then a shout out to both McCormick's and Dog and Suds. I just have to tell you, our PTO puts on, I don't know if you've heard about it, pickles and popcorn. I know it doesn't sound like the two go together, but I knew from a previous experience that it does go together and the kids love it. But Dog and Suds orders the pickles at cost, and then they keep them refrigerated for us. And then McCormick's, other than the classrooms that have an allergy, they pop the popcorn and bag it and deliver it and everything for us. And so we pay just a bare minimum. So a shout out to those two organizations for all their support. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, moving on to superintendent. Oh, I'm sorry, Jen. Oh, how dare I forget the back? I'm so sorry. Mrs. Stillman. In the back. How can I forget about our littles?
Anyway, so we had our Golden Assembly again this last week. We had a special guest. Monty came over and did high fives and did the YMCA with us and did all kinds of things. And we had Mrs. Berger's class. They got the golden whistle for behavior in the playground, and Gold's was the ninja. So they are very happy. And Gaz's class got the boot, and Flynn's the spatula, which is ironic. And we were all asking her to cook us something with her golden spatula. And so then we had our reading month pickup, which is our Seuss on the Loose. And every week we have favorite authors, and each week ends, again, the help of food service. We have some celebrations. So last week it was Dr. Seuss hats that we made with strawberries and bananas. And this week we're making waffle dragons to go with our David Morley books. And I did all those other things, the pilot, the class, the legal discipline. So all of those things. And then I want to encourage, if you know any preschoolers, the preschool White Lake Community Ed is having their registration on the 18th of March. So if you have any students that you think would qualify for preschool, that would be awesome. We also have our roundup on the 25th of April. So we'll be encouraging. Currently we have about the same numbers at this time that we had last year as far as predicting enrollment. Kathy Oman's really good at kind of predicting where we are. And so basically the same as last year. So if you know any students that qualify for kindergarten, that would be awesome. And then I also have to get, like, you're gonna talk about Lauren Ritter, and I just wanna talk about her for a second. We hired her at the MAC, and she is awesome. She used to work at Dog Star Ranch, and she has a therapy dog that's super cute, it's a Frenchie, that she brings to. And if you know Karen Smith, it's just kind of a Karen Smith has personality, and so we're very lucky to have her on board.
Thank you so much. I apologize for being too quick of moving into the superintendent comments. In the superintendent comments, you see new hires. You just heard about Lauren Ritter. She does have a bachelor's degree from Barrett College in Illinois, and she has been a nice addition to our MAC as parapro. Moving into other comments, please take a look at the new website, mapsk12.org. We made some tweaks and changes on that, so please, by all means, if you have pictures or events that you are at and take some pictures, send them to Michelle. We're always looking to add new pictures to our website, so if you have those, please share those with us. Prior to this meeting, we did have a building site committee meeting. Just to give a little recap, we kind of had an agenda that talked around the sinking fund updates, the bond updates, looking at our private properties and title updates, as well as a gym tour. So just kind of running through those. Just as of March 1st, our sinking fund balance is $606,830. During this year, we have completed all the early school HVAC upgrades. We're currently working on the replacement of air conditioning systems here at Montague High School, ones that were having trouble, and we're working through those. We are currently working through the architecture of our fire suppression systems, and that is a costly expenditure. We're being conservative on our numbers, but looking at almost a $400,000 investment into our fire suppression systems and making sure that we have those. Not sure if it'll be fully completed by the end of June 30, but we'll start working towards that, and that's where a big chunk of our next monies are going. That would leave us approximately $185,000 at the year's end, which when we would gain more moving into the next year. Looking to put our next focus towards roofs here within the building, or possibly parking lots and an elevator, as we learn more about the RRO elevator and what updates might need to take place there.
Jeff, is fire suppression just in one building, or is that across?
They are in all buildings.
Yeah,
Our major emphasis is here at three of the buildings, which would be outside of the MAC. So here, Montague High School, NBC, and Early School. Looking at the bond, the gym is very close to completion. We're into the punch list items and meeting with some vendors on some different things that we are looking to get finished up or changed in that process. The final invoices should be coming through, but it should leave us approximately $1.6 million to move in towards the ag barn. That would be already started with the architecture of moving towards the ag barn. From there, we will then move into the auditorium upgrades and the memorial field and the soccer field. There are some of the upgrades to the entry concession stand here. So that would be moving forward on that. And then property title updates. We are still working with Tern Law Firm. We're taking all the documents from anywhere from the late 1800s, early 1930 properties and titles, and we worked it with our law firm, and they're actually getting them put together, and they're working with the title groups to actually get us the true titles for that, and then we'll have every property that we have, how many acres, what we can do with it, what we can't do with it, and and just give us a better understanding of all our properties here within the district. As much as we have an overall idea, like, yeah, we own this property, but what can we do? How did we gain it? Who did we get that from? All that information, which will be nice. So we'll continue to work through that as well. Moving on to, I'm sure I had actually sent to you, welcoming a new football coach here to the district, Phil Coops from Hamilton. I'll have him at a future agenda item as far as moving forward as far as the teacher aspect, but we are excited to have him. We're currently working and we will be entering into another transportation agreement for electric force this upcoming year. So the same contract that we had worked with previously, making some changes to that to include some additional buses from Shelby as well in that. Legislatively, there's a lot going on, and we're trying to discern what at a state level and at a federal level, what that means for us as a school district. We're getting to the point where budgets are starting to be talked about and done, and both at a federal and a state level. It looks like there will be some delays in budgets. So I'm trying to figure out what those budgets mean for me, and trying to make the best of that for Stacy, so that as we come into June, to make sure that we have a presentable June budget for you. Obviously, she needs to really have a good understanding of what those numbers are by early May, mid of May, so that we can have that for the June meeting. Hopefully we can get that, but both at the state level and the federal level, I'm just not quite sure where we're going to see those numbers come in. So we'll be putting forth the budget on a conservative level, and it probably will look into a deficit, to be honest with you. And from there, as we have done in years past, we will continue to work forward and amend those budgets as we go forward. Also, in the walkthrough, there is a golf room it was a multi-purpose room that through a generous donation by Will Kari, which we will be looking to move and naming that the Will Kari Golf Room. A very generous donation to the golf program, and we will have 2 simulators in there. It's a very nice turf setup that has been done, and it was a very big thank you to Will Kari, and as we gain more information about that, I'll share that as well. And with that, we are done with superintendent comments, Mr. Whitman.
Awesome. On to item number 8, new business. 8A is consideration to approve the Michigan Forestry Company scope of work and assessment. The suggested motion is to approve the Michigan Forestry Company scope of work and assessment. Moved by Scott, support by Joel. Discussion.
All right, so you see the scope of work for the Michigan Forestry Company that I put in there. Brett Kuipers with the Michigan Forestry Company is here in the back. He has put through, and you can see the scope of work there. I have since passed out, you see the lumber company timber bid. And so that we're really, how this came about is the township, Montague Township, is logging some of the red pine out at Skeels and Whitbeck, but Skeels in 72nd. Whitbeck becomes, because it's right there at the county border. So from there, the township was doing some logging. It was a great thought to let's go check it ourselves, since the logging company is already out there. There seemed to be some good pricing on the lumber itself. The red pine is what we're looking at. There is, and Brett, if I could have you kind of come forward just briefly to explain a little bit about the red pine and why we're looking at cutting red pine around some of the not only the Skeels Road, but Winston Road and McKinley Road that we'll be talking about as well.
So red pine in West Michigan over the last, I would say, 20, 30 years, when it's getting towards the end of its plantation, we've been seeing a lot of decline due to kind of a 3-factor. Number one, the age is where it's at final harvest schedule. So number 2, we've got the diplodia tip blight, which affects the tips of the needles on the needles themselves, fungus. And then number 3 is a root rot, called armillaria root rot, starts to come in, and you see circle patterns out in the woods of dieback disease. So we started this process at the township, and the township has got a lot of dead pockets happening. We walked through it and then put bids in together for the township. And I reached out to Tracy at the township and to see if you guys were interested in following suit, because once that pine starts to die, it goes very quickly. So in order to maybe capture those dollars instead of seeing them just fall over and rot on the ground, we reached out to Jeff and went for a walk, and discovered those different pockets of dieback that are also on your property, and basically all of your properties that have red pine. That red pine that that you have at the multiple sites all has been thinned, and we went and witnessed that. Mel Whitman, Pulpwood and Forestry have done that in the past. So you have a pine resource that has been taken care of over the years, but it does have that point where it's at maturity. It also is facing the different diseases that I've outlined there. So because we had a really, really good bid on the Montague Township, that was why I got a hold of you guys. It was like, it'd be almost foolish not to have them do it while they're right next door, because the price was so good per cord on the red pine. So that kind of covers what's going on over there. There's lots of hardwood growing up, so there's lots of trees left that's going to convert to a hardwood stand. And then there's quite a bit of overstory white pine throughout, which will stay as well and seed back into the landscape. So,
Brett, while you're standing up, could
Yeah.
you also just talk, I have been working with Brett as well, as we're moving forward. I'm really coming up with a forestry plan for the district as a whole over time. And I know that he has worked with Mr. Smalligan, and if you just talk briefly about that and how there's some granting funds available and what we could do with that.
So Mike's actually on vacation, so I wasn't able to get what grant money and funding he has for school for us. But so I'm backing up. I'm a registered forester with the state of Michigan. I'm a degreed forester. I have my master's degree from Michigan State. My goal is long-term management on the forest, as well as putting the most value out of the timber sale into a landowner's pocket when we do carry out a timber sale. Mike Smalligan is the Forest Stewardship Program Coordinator at the state, and they have a program in which not only private landowners can benefit from having a forestry right management plan for their property, but they actually have funds for school forests to have a registered forester come in and do basically a robust plan for each forest on what is the state of growth, what could be done in the future, what needs to be done now, what invasive species may there be that we need to tackle, how can we grow that forest into the future so that future classes can go out there and not only recreate but learn and be able to carry out different, maybe even you got sports that are out there with cross-country trails and things like that, or recreation, but also feed into the ag side of things if you have orienteering or anything like that. Any type of forest learning just about horticulture or just silviculture itself on how Michigan forests grow, or for kids that are interested in that at like the ISD or something like that can say, hey, this is the plan we have for our forest going forward. This is what we've done. This is what we're going to do. This is how we keep it healthy. These are different plantings we've done, or whatever like that. So you can go on and on about the specific forests, but it helps a school have a roadmap for the future when future boards change over, and obviously all of us in this room at some point probably going to be around. You have a good plan going forward of how to manage those forests. And so there's a little bit of funding that is there at the Forest Stewardship Program that may be something that the school could be interested in. But I don't have a proposal today about what that would cost or what offset grants Mike has, but that's what we're kind of exploring. If you guys are interested in there, it's available to you, but it's not a must. But it is something that, if your school is passionate about learning and stewarding your forest that's been given to you by the public in the future, maybe a good roadmap.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Brett. So as you can see in the bid, there's the Steeles Road property, which is how this process began, which is Steeles Road and 72nd or Webback. But then the other two properties are, the first one is east of Rodsbury there, Winston Road and 92nd, and then McKinley Road and 92nd, which is just from Winston, 92nd back to the south to McKinley to the east, where there's an 8-acre sections there. Winston Road, 92nd, there is some coming up, so these are mature trees at the Winston Road at the McKinley. It is a small section, around 8 acres, and correct me if I'm wrong in anything I'm saying here, Brett, that would have some good red pine. And these are only the cutting of red pine currently in this process.
Any additional questions or comments?
Did you find any evidence of diphtheria or what is it, malaria?
Yes. So the diabetic pockets are where you're seeing those ring pockets, and they're evident in those pockets. Another place you can, especially the first one that's next to Montague Township, right there. That's probably the worst one of all of them, but all of them have pockets. A really good example of where it's gone almost too far is if you go to the Township Nature Preserve, just across the highway. That's probably 2-3 years advanced from where most woodlots are at, and there's areas we can't even bring equipment in, which is small.
Any additional discussion?
So in our packet, there was something from Michigan Forestry, and then we got something from lumber. Those.
Yep. So Michigan Forestry is Brett, and this is his company. This is the scope of his work. So he takes a 15% total sales. This is the actual lumber company that was Buer out of
Lumber was the
logging company.
Right.
So we get 15% off of that.
Red Pine Mill in the Lower Peninsula.
Yeah.
But they, they got that last bid. But I went out, took some plot data, and then compared it with his. We came up with a solid volume that's out there, and he was able to put numbers to it.
Okay, but that's how those two go together. So it's 50% off of that.
15%
Off of that
Buer.
total.
Yep.
Yeah. And then I am out there with the loggers, move them in, supervise the sales to finish, so that we have, anything that needs to be backplated or smoothed out, or something happens, I'm there to make sure it goes the way that the school needs to go.
Any additional discussion or questions?
I would definitely be interested in looking at a plan for the future.
Stewardship program.
Yes.
Yes, and this was the program that I talked about previously. He is on vacation, so I'm trying to. He's in Thailand. So it's been quite the process. But I think that is something that we should, especially as we're finding in these title searches and some of the work that we have went through, that there's only certain things, and a lot is revolved around forestry, all of those lands. So what can we do? Just like those in Montague Public Schools did years ago, as far as the trees, to look at the harvesting of trees and lumber for generations down the road as well. So we'll be in that process, especially with our ag students here and the work that they do, and how can we incorporate them in that process.
And with that in mind, Mike, the reason we're waiting on Mike is he knows the current values that he has. So I want to give an accurate picture of that, or what he has there. But I've worked with, when I came out of Michigan State, after I graduated, I worked for Michigan State, so I've managed a lot of MSU's outlying properties for 2.5 years there. So we used to implement plans around a lot of hiking, making certain days, and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of different options that we can just infuse possibilities that teachers may say, hey, we didn't even know we could use our forest to teach in this.
Awesome.
So, all those in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item 8B is consideration to approve the 2025-26 School of Choice Resolution. Suggest a motion to approve the 2025 School of Choice Resolution as presented. Moved by Scott, support by Amanda. Discussion.
So this is an approval every year through the Muskegon Area ISD. The choice plan, we do have limited openings in that. Currently, we have 215 non-resident students. For instance, just last year, though, we had 32 students just within last year that took on added new to our school of choice. So we do it across the board. We are a winner in the world of school of choice. Call it that, I guess. We take in more school of choice students than we are in that process. And so this is something we'd like to do.
Any discussion or questions? All those in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item 8C is consideration of approving a representative to attend the MAISD annual budget review. The suggested motion is to approve, whoever we decide, to represent Montague area public schools at the MAISD annual budget review on May 1st, 2025. I would recommend, well, we need a motion, so we need to figure out who we want to put in there. I would recommend we have somebody from the finance committee.
I think I went last year.
Did you? Would you like to do that again? Okay.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So to approve Amanda Dahl to represent Montague area public schools at the MAISD annual budget review on May 1st, 2025.
So moved.
Moved by Cindy, support by Scott. Discussion.
So according to laws regarding intermediate school district budgets, local school district boards must adopt a resolution on the MASD general fund budget. So, May 1 and June 1 of each year. Representative last year was Amanda Dahl, so I think that is a great pick moving forward, especially as she is the treasurer of the board. And I approve.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item 8D is consideration to approve the purchase of a cargo van. Suggested motion is to approve the purchase of a Ford Transit cargo van from Great Lakes Ford in the amount of $49,501.10 with food service funds. Moved by Amanda. Moved by Amanda, support by Joel. Discussion.
So as you saw, there was 3 bids, one from Great Lakes Ford, one from Sealy Ford, and one from Max Ford, maybe? I can't read my writing, but our current food service truck has served its purpose, but presents limitations in functionality and efficiency. After evaluating the needs in the food service, Mr. Gorman identified to transition to a food service van, which offers some advantages. It has improved storage and transportation, enhanced towing ability, so obviously this van, they could pack up more into the van and the cargo aspect of it. This van is going to have enhanced towing capability. With the tow package, you can haul up to 6,100 pounds, and you'll see in our next approval would be a refrigerated trailer, so it would be able to haul that food trailer, especially during our summer feedings that we do around the district and to the north in Rothbury, and then just special events that we do with our refrigerated trailers as well. We would look to repurpose the existing truck and retire that into the district's maintenance department, and then take the old truck, obviously, that is there, probably hold on to it maybe for some plowing purposes to a certain point to where the repair of it doesn't make sense for the district.
Any additional discussion or questions?
Is this the one that, like, they cook the meals here and they take them around to the other buildings? Is that what that is, or?
Nope, this would be for, this would haul a refrigerated trailer, or possibly even our outdoor, it's like a kitchen, like a little food truck type trailer. This would be utilized for that, so that when we do like the summer feedings for our summer school kids, or for our in Rothbury there at the Rothbury Park, we serve lunches and every day in that process, and have the sports and shorts program that we do, that this would allow to pull and put all the materials. We had the truck, and it just became more of a pain with the bed of the truck, because people couldn't quite get into the truck where the cargo of the van seems to be fitting, and then it can still tow the refrigerated trailer within that process as well.
So there wasn't value in a higher, low roof line seems restrictive for hauling things. I would have surprised that there wasn't. I'm sure he picked exactly what he thought was best.
I think he did. I don't know. I can come back with the answers to that, but I do think it's for ease of the actual food service workers, that they felt like with the slider doors they could get into a certain section from the back and into a certain section. It would allow to tow within the refrigerated trailer, where they could easily get in and out of it as well.
And then this will help get some of those food service dollars down that we need to get down.
This is
for
definitely
the
a part of
auditors.
that
Okay.
process as well. Yes,
Okay.
there are plenty of
Perfect.
funds for that here as well.
All right. right, any additional discussion or questions? All those in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried. As Jeff mentioned, item 8E is consideration to approve the purchase of a refrigerated trailer. Suggested motion to approve the purchase of a refrigerated trailer from Polar King International in the amount of $52,816.80 for food service funds. Moved by Scott, support by Amanda. Discussion.
All right, so back to the summer meal programming support. During the summer months in Rodbury, we'll have the ability to store milk and other perishable items directly in the trailer and have that directly at the site, reducing the need for extra handling, ensuring the food remains at safe temperatures. The trailer is designed to handle up to 300 gallons of milk. Our heaviest transported item, while remaining with the van's towing capacity, will be used throughout the school year to transport fresh fruits and vegetables from local growers to the school as well, with some of the work that we do on local homegrown and furthering our commitment to the local food procurement process.
Any additional discussion or questions?
So Jeff, there's coolers in the village hall now with those neat. Are they just using the trailer?
I don't know.
Never mind.
I will ask that question though for you.
Is there any, see, get like a custom paint job? Match the van?
There will be some logo of Montague Public Schools. I don't know what that exactly will entail, but yes, there will be a logo. So, yep.
We've got this spray can at home. It's my
I don't know if a paint job would be, but probably more of like a wrap, whatever
that is.
detail
Just like, it'd be nice if you're getting a kit to have them coordinate.
Correct, there will be.
Any additional discussion or questions? All those in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item 8F is consideration to approve an updated property easement with Great Lakes Energy. Suggested motion to approve the updated property easement with Great Lakes Energy. Moved by Amanda, support by Scott. You guys are usually so quick. I'm not used to having to look.
I thought there was more of
I have to start changing my pace. So discussion.
All right, so I really am looking for the approval of the property easement, the property easement signature, so that I can sign it. And I still have some questions myself because it is stating that is in an updated property easement, which in a roundabout way that it is, but really it's not a Great Lakes easement. So that's what I'm trying to investigate right now. With the county, it shows that it's through Wolverine and not through Great Lakes. It is part, Great Lakes does provide energy to Wolverine, so that's what I'm trying to work through. But the scope of the project itself is ran by Great Lakes. Those are Great Lakes lines there, and they're just redoing them. So I feel very comfortable in the project that they're looking to do, but I just want to make sure that the easement that I sign off on, and I just want to be clear with you, I would like the approval to do so, but I'm only going to sign if I know that it's specifically to this project and not to like the property as a whole. We're really talking about the areas just along Webster Road, in 72nd there, as you can see, is the cross sections of that. But we show a easement with Wolverine that incorporates some of this, but it's not with Great Lakes. So I have some clarifying questions that they can't answer at this point in time. But I do feel comfortable in saying, hey, this project, yep, we can move forward. I will sign that easement if it's what we're saying it is as well.
So Jeff and I talked a little bit about this. If this was just a straight renewal, then he could sign this without coming to the board, but because of we're not quite sure, we felt it was best to bring it to the board for signature or for approval. Any additional discussion?
So is that like a construction easement?
Yes, yes. I mean, it's a power. It's a utility easement.
40 feet off center line.
Right, but you said they're going to do work. There's one for Wolverine already, correct? An easement with Wolverine.
Correct.
Great Lakes is going through and updating.
They're basically, I think, trying to say that even though they run all the, I don't know how because our understanding is that this is a Wolverine easement, not a Great Lakes easement.
So shouldn't they talk to Wolverine now?
Yeah, well, that's what I've said. Now they say, well, we provide, I think Wolverine thinks it's their easement too, and not theirs. So I'm working through that. The actual project itself is repairing the power lines there, which I think is a great idea and works. But I just want to get all our easements in order before I sign that. And I would like the board's approval to continue forward within this easement if it makes sense.
Isn't common language, it looks like it for both of them, easements are in perpetuity? That was my first thing, it was like this is a forever easement, and which sort of seems normal, but that's right.
It would be along the
Construction easement to
Yeah, I mean, this is it is forever. It says perpetuity and forever. That always. But again, it's 40 feet off center line. It's pretty normal type of
process.
It's utility easement. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Any additional discussion or questions? All those in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item 8G, consideration to approve the reinstatement of student number 10242400127. The suggested motion is to reinstate student number 10242400127 in the Montague area public schools in order to continue education virtually through Muskegon County Virtual Academy. So, moved by Scott, support by Karen. Discussion.
Scott, what was that number that you approved? I'm just kidding.
I can't believe I got through it twice.
So we did have a disciplinary hearing previously where we had an individual that was at Duck Creek, where we moved to, our approval was we were looking to either provide a virtual option or to move in an expulsion process to Lighthouse in Muskegon. So the virtual option was not something the parent wanted to go through in that process. They didn't think that was best. They have since changed their mind that Lighthouse is not the right fix for them. So this is in order for the student to be a part of Muskegon County Virtual Academy, they have to be a student. The virtual option was an option that we were looking at previously. The student's younger brother is a part of that Muskegon County Virtual Academy as well. The parent has decided that that would be an acceptable option. And so I would like to reinstate the students so that it could go virtually. This does not mean that the student will be ever in person here, but it would be a Montague student through the virtual option.
Any additional discussion or questions?
That language, this resolution or whatever cements that
Correct.
They're not
Correct, that they would be a virtual student.
specific to virtual.
Correct.
All right. All those in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item 9 on the agenda is adjournment.
So moved.
Moved by Cindy. Support by Joel. Meeting is, all those in favor?
Yes.
Meeting is adjourned.
Students, you can bring your agendas up.
Cool.
You are a dad.
That is-
You can tell.
That's awesome. Merrick, what's going on, man?
Fellas.
Well, grab them and sign them for you too.
Or you can sign it. You sign it.
Thanks for coming, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Me too. Levi, how you doing?
There you go.
Good.
Thank you.
I'll sign them.